Imagine an island larger than all of Western Europe, covered in ice and surrounded by the harsh waters of the Arctic Ocean. This is Greenland, the world's largest island. But did you know that this giant is owned by tiny Denmark? How did a country 50 times smaller than Greenland end up ruling this massive island? Today we'll dive into this fascinating story. Greenland was first discovered by Vikings in the 10th century. The most prominent figure associated with its discovery is Eric the Red, a Norse explorer who was exiled from Iceland for committing manslaughter. Around 982 AD, he set sail in search of new lands and stumbled upon the vast and mostly ice-covered territory of Greenland. Eric named the land Greenland in an effort to attract settlers, believing that a more appealing name would entice people to join him in colonizing it. He established the first known settlement in southwestern Greenland, an area he called Eric's Fjord, which is believed to be present-day Disco Bay. Over time, other settlers from Iceland followed, and by the beginning of the 11th century, the population of these settlements grew to several thousand. The settlers engaged in various activities, including farming, raising livestock, and trading with the indigenous Inuit people. They cultivated crops such as barley and raised animals like sheep and goats. Despite the harsh climate, the Vikings adapted their farming techniques and built sturdy homes using available resources. The Viking colonies thrived for a couple of centuries, with archaeological evidence suggesting that trade occurred with Europe, including the exchange of goods such as walrus ivory and furs. However, starting in the 14th century, the settlements began to decline for several reasons. 1. Climate change. The onset of the Little Ice Age led to cooler temperatures, making agriculture increasingly difficult. This climatic shift affected food production and the sustainability of the settlements. 2. Resource depletion. Over time, the settlers depleted local resources and faced difficulties in sustaining their livestock, leading to food shortages. 3rd conflict. There were increasing tensions and conflicts with the Inuit, who were also struggling to adapt to the changing environment. By the end of the 15th century, both major settlements, known as the Eastern and Western settlements, had disappeared, and the Viking presence in Greenland effectively ended. The next significant European contact with Greenland occurred during the Age of Exploration in the 15th and 16th centuries. In 1721, Denmark-Norway began to explore and colonize Greenland more systematically. Missionaries, hunters, and explorers arrived, leading to the establishment of Danish colonial rule over the island. In the 18th century, Denmark, which by then had become a significant colonial power, decided to reassert control over the island. This was driven by both a desire to strengthen its position in the North Atlantic and religious motives. In 1721, the Danish missionary Hans Egede set out for Greenland with the goal of finding descendants of the Norse settlers and converting them to Christianity. However, upon arriving on the island, he discovered that the Norse had long since vanished, and the population consisted mainly of the Inuit. Egede decided to stay and establish the settlement of Godthaab, now Nuuk, the capital of Greenland. His mission was not only religious but also political. He acted on behalf of King Frederick IV of Denmark, who sought to strengthen Danish presence in the region. Egede and his followers began actively engaging with the Inuit, learning their language and culture, and spreading Christianity. Danish colonists built churches, trading posts, and fortifications to solidify their presence on the island. Greenland became an important strategic outpost for Denmark, especially in the context of competition with other European powers like Britain and the Netherlands. In 1776, Denmark officially declared Greenland a colony. A trade monopoly was established on the island, meaning all commercial operations had to go through Danish authorities. This allowed Denmark to control Greenland's resources, such as whale oil, fish, and furs, and profit from them. However, life in Greenland remained harsh for both the colonists and the Inuit. The Danish administration often ignored the interests of the indigenous population, leading to tension. Nevertheless, by the 19th century, Greenland had firmly become part of the Danish kingdom, serving as an important piece of its colonial empire. The 20th century brought significant changes to Greenland. During World War II, the island came under U.S. protection, highlighting its strategic importance. In 1953, Greenland ceased to be a colony and became an integral part of the Kingdom of Denmark. Then, in 1979, Greenland gained autonomy, allowing its people to govern their internal affairs. Today, Greenland has its own parliament and government, but foreign policy and defense remain under Danish control. Today, Greenland is more than just ice and icebergs. The island is rich in natural resources like oil, gas, and rare earth metals. However, climate change and melting glaciers pose serious challenges. Additionally, there's growing talk of full independence from Denmark. For now, Greenland remains part of the Danish kingdom, linking the two nations through centuries of shared history.